Malulele, Rotorua tonight on City News. The Ramada Lakeside Resort and Spa Rotorua is set to open next year, adding extra rooms at the luxury end of the hotel market. 2 more Jake seats are being installed in the inner city, and Western Heights represent the city in the New Zealand Secondary School Girls Football Tournament Grand Final played today at the International Stadium. But first, Labor candidate Tamati Coffey has outlined his political vision to local business people at the Chamber of Commerce election debate. Mr Coffey told the gathering of his passion for Rotorua and his belief in Labor policies to make life better for the whole of society.
New Zealanders have a couple of fundamental values. We work hard and we like to look after each other. These are the values that have made New Zealand great, and they're the values that will be at the heart of Labor in government. We should aim to be a prosperous and fair nation, and we should get there focused on working with each other. To get ahead, we need to realise that we're all in this together: government, business, employers and workers. Labor has a vision for high-value, sustainable future with better jobs and higher wages.
More election coverage later in the show when we screen ACT candidate Lyle Russell's presentation at the election debate. The Ramada Lakeside Resort and Spa Rotorua is set to open next year, along with Ramada Hotels also in development for Christchurch and Queenstown. The announcement was made yesterday by the Wyndham Group, the world's largest hotel company. The Rotorua Ramada is an $18.5 million development at the lake end of Whitaker Road and will offer a mix of 68 hotel rooms and 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. It will also feature a geothermal health spa, on-site restaurant and bar, swimming pool and conference facilities. Chairperson of the Rotorua Tourism Hotel Sector, Gert Tallard of Sedema Hotel, welcomes the Ramada's entry into the marketplace and says the commitment shows the confidence the hotel group has in the future of the city. 2 more Jake seats are being installed over the next few days, one at City Focus and one on the corner of Tūtanakai and Pukewatua streets. The prototype Jake seat was recently installed on the corner of Tūtanakai and Etoweta streets, following a recent makeover and upgrade of the intersection. District Councillor and Inner City Revitalisation Portfolio Lead Karen Hunt says the Jake seat's practical part of inner city revitalisation action makes the area more attractive and more user-friendly. In sport tonight, the New Zealand Secondary School Girls Football competition has been on in the city, with the grand final held today between Western Heights and Wairarapa. It's the 3rd time Rotorua's biggest high school has placed in the competition in the past 4 years, having last won 3 years ago. There had been distraction in the media today surrounding the private Auckland girls' school and their football team's behaviour in the CBD. However, Western Heights coach Phil Parker says his girls were unfazed by that, having beaten the Auckland school to reach the grand final. And we'll have more on the Western Heights girls' football team's achievements next week in City News. To your weather update now. Tonight, occasional rain, some heavy falls and the chance of thunder, northeasterly winds and an overnight low of 5. And we have a full forecast of the weekend's weather coming up after City News, thanks to Met Service. Still to come in tonight's program, Mayor Steve Chadwick reviews some of the latest news from Council. We talk with up-and-coming singer Cameron Rotorua and hear about his feelings on performing in front of thousands at this weekend's Ames Games. And we have ACT candidate Lyle Russell's presentation at the Chamber of Commerce Great Election Debate.
Steve Chadwick reporting from your council on what we're discussing and what are the issues in front of us at the moment. Well, I think the great excitement this week was getting those bells ringing in the heart of the city, and to me that rung in the new changes of this council. They'd been sitting for 30 years and one staffer just decided he could get some horologists to work with him, and they've managed to repair them and get them going. They're not going 24 hours a day, so they won't disturb you at night, but to me that breathed new life into the heart of our city. And we welcomed new staff to council this week, so we're starting to see that we've got through an era of change and we're now moving on to our portfolios, and the heart of the city's really getting going with a plan that they're ready to take out to the community, looking at do we need a performing arts centre in the heart of the city, and that links with the Creative Communities group. Also looking at the traffic flows, and that's something that will come out to the community, and we'll welcome your input there. And also nearly signed off where these buses stop. That's been a long process, so I think that's exciting to see the heart of the city working on those issues. The other issue that we looked at is the beginnings of what was in our annual plan for the aquatic centre in Quedo Park. We've had a first draft back and exciting ideas there. We've also got to look back on what councils looked at in the past, because we've got to bring those into our thinking, those good ideas that never happened, and have a very comprehensive plan to bring to you, the community, in the not too distant future about what we do in that area, and that's very exciting. And then I think I was quite heartened when I went to hear these candidates really in the election talking about the future of local government. And we heard quite emphatically that localism, local leadership matters here, don't want amalgamations and moving into a super city. And that was quite reinforcing for us as a council, where we're saying we could look at what efficiencies we could get by working collaboratively. We could do some things that make services more effective for you, the ratepayers, and we're not opposed to that. And at a mayor's meeting just last week, we all agreed that we would undertake a piece of collaborative work to work out what's best for localism in this wider region. So that's encouraging, and it was good to see the MPs supporting us on that issue. So they're the wrap up of the big issues that are before us at the moment, and there's one other discussion just starting about, you know, we've done so well here on our lakes. We're now looking at geothermal and geothermal potential, and we're looking at air quality with the Regional Council. We're becoming a bit of a centre here for sustainability. And that's a bit of a discussion starting with Sion and Waiariki, where we're starting to say perhaps Rotorua could position ourselves nationally as a centre for environmental excellence. That's exciting. Look forward to hearing from you on that one. Well, there was an announcement made last week that Rotorua is going to be the beneficiary of $6 million new investment into a children's centre that the DHB will be working on. That's your District Health Board, but we will work with them too about where this could be placed. If it's a children's one-stop shop centre, we on Council would love to work with our District Health Board to say it should be a community-based centre, and we'd love it in the heart of our city. Wouldn't that be great? So it's wonderful to get that news. It's really the place where parents can go to know where the services are in our town that help them parenting, and it so fits with a family-friendly community, which is one of our portfolios. So it's good news.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above, the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
So he's busy, but he manages to be here in Rotorua doing all the media and publicity that he can do. With me today we have Cameron Rota, who is a familiar face, especially with the younger generation. Hi Cameron.
Hi.
And you also got your manager here as well. Hello Kelly.
Hello.
Hi. Now tell me a bit about yourself. What's something that no one actually knows?
Alright, so I'm into aviation, so flying around, recently working towards getting my pilot license, so that's a pretty cool thing, yeah, I do in my spare time.
So how did you manage to get into aviation?
Well, my school holds a gateway placement, and so I've been into aviation since I was about 5, so just been building up to, do that.
What's the fascination with it?
I just like the fact of, you're in charge of many different things and, you've got to be able to hold that pressure, that sort of thing, yeah.
Okay. So apart from aviation, obviously music is something that you do as well. And how did you get into that?
So as well as aviation, I've always been singing since I was about 4 or 5, and basically professionally got into it about 3 years ago when I first moved to Whakatane. And from there I would enter different talent shows, that sort of stuff, until I hit X Factor, and that's where my professional journey began. Yeah.
Wow, 4 and 5, that's really young, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what kind of songs were you singing at that age?
Just Happy Birthday, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and just sort of jazzed it up, made it my own, and then got into my own sort of stuff.
Those are hits actually, those songs. They sing it almost every day.
Yeah.
Now, tell me, your music career, you started off obviously in X Factor apart from what you've done. Is that correct, or did you start before then?
In terms of my singing career?
Correct, yes.
Pretty much, basically I got deep into it after I hit the X Factor, getting attention from, labels and that sort of thing. So just starting to pursue that career basically from when I was off X Factor,
It's because you are quite young and you're incredibly brave. Even if I could sing, I'm not too sure that I would have put my hand up to do X Factor.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was going through your mind at that time?
This was when I wasn't so confident with singing when I first auditioned. So I first did my pre-audition in Taupo, and then ended up getting through that and going through to the live shows in Auckland. In Auckland it was, it was scary because this, what do you call it? The stage manager would count down from 5 to 0, and that's when you'd walk on. So listening to his countdown was probably the most nerve-wracking thing about getting on stage, But other than that, it was all just natural, I guess,
And with your first songs that you obviously used to attract the attention of the show, what were those songs about and why did you choose them?
Broken Hearted was my audition song at the live shows, and I sung that because the producers... let me start from the start. So basically the pre-audition I sung older songs, Two Wrongs, just older songs like Hallelujah, that sort of stuff. But then when I did my pre-audition, the producer said if I get in to sing songs that are in the now, so I looked at the top 40 charts, and I found Broken Hearted sung by Carmen. So I decided to sing that one just for the producers, so they can see that I'm able to adapt to what they say, that sort of thing. And
So apart from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Happy Birthday, what genre of music had you been brought up on?
R&B and pop. So I listened to lots of Michael Jackson and lots of Stan Walker as well. So that's the sort of stuff I listen to,
Brilliant. Now, of course, you've got your new album that's coming out, or your new single, sorry, and what's the name of the song?
So my song out now is in the top 40, which is called One of a Kind. Obviously sung by me and written by me, so that's on iTunes and Spotify now.
And what's that, that's an interesting title, One of a Kind, because I hear that all the time. So what is that about?
Pretty much one of a kind. The song itself is about that one of a kind person that's always there for you, that's got your back, that sort of thing, and someone that's always going to look out for you when you need it, sort of thing,
Was there anyone in particular that you drew inspiration for that song from?
The song, it just came to mind, just personal stuff,
Kelly, how do you know this young gentleman, Cameron?
So we met for the first time a while ago at an event I was working on, and he was performing when he was really young. And then since the X Factor, we kind of got to know each other, and then because I kind of work in the performing arts industry, the manager thing kind of just happened naturally.
Okay, so you obviously knew him beforehand, and what has it been like working with him?
It's interesting sort of knowing him first and then going into sort of a business relationship, but we kind of work it in different ways.
And what do you because you must be like a bigger brother, so what kind of things do you do for him?
Basically make sure that he's being promoted the right way and that no one is going to sort of bowl him over and basically sort of promote him in a way that's not useful for his career.
Well, that is like a big brother then. Well, look, thank you so very much for letting us chat with you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us? Something we don't know or something you'd like to mention?
I'd like to mention that my song is on iTunes, available on iTunes and Spotify for $1.79. And so that's for everyone out there, and help me get to top 10, hopefully. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, there you go. You heard him. It's out there. It's on Spotify. It's less than $2. So help support Cameron. And thank you very much, Kelly and Cameron, for having a word.
Thank you
Cheers.
very much.
I'm Lyle and I'm the ex-candidate in Rotorua. Now I'm standing to help elect Dr. Jamie White into Parliament. Now Dr. Jamie White is the best qualified candidate for Parliament. He is a doctorate from Cambridge University and has given up his high-powered job as an expert on the global economy to come home to the best place to raise his family. Now Dr. White agreed to become ex-party leader because there are policies that would substantially benefit and improve our country, and he supports ACT's values. Now ACT's core values is the belief that the state should not do for the citizens what the citizens can and should do for themselves. All other parties are promising things that the people should and can do for themselves, and they just result in higher spending and higher taxing. Now as a third party, we cannot promise you everything, but we can promise you that ACT will have influence. Now everyone across the board agrees that David Seymour will win an Epsom. So for those of you who know how MMP work will appreciate that all ACT party votes will count. Now recently I was in Sydney where I was fortunate enough to meet with business leaders and politicians, and the most common thing that was said was how much they admire John Key and the national government's economic recovery. Now these business leaders were talking about expanding their businesses to New Zealand, but they're waiting for the results of this election to see whether New Zealand's economy continues to look bright. Now that is where ACT will come in. A party vote ACT will ensure the future of a stable national-led government. And with ACT at the government's side, we will keep the government accountable to our true values and continue to provide the opportunity for a thriving economy. Now, ACT's economic policy will increase our GDP growth by 1/3. Now, by achieving this, we're going to reduce the company tax rate from 28% to 20%, and then over a series of stages, by 2020, we'll bring it down to 12.5%. And studies from the US and Europe have suggested that by cutting the company tax rate by 10%, will increase economic growth by between 1 and 2% a year, an extra 1 to 2% extra a year. Now, if our economy grew by 3% instead of 2%, that is the difference growth between 35% and 55% in 15 years. This equates to an additional $5,000 in all of our pockets. Now, so there's substantial economic benefits for us all. Now, ACT supports a low flat tax because it is fair, and also because it increases investment, jobs and growth. Now, none of the other parties are promoting lowering taxes, but we are, and we're also the only party that's going to put an end to the nanny state. Now, ACT's priorities with the national-led government is to continue to grow our economy. In conjunction, ACT has many other worthy policies. The first role of the government is to protect us. ACT says it is wrong that 330,000 burglaries will take place over the next 3 years. The chances are you've either been burgled, you're going to be robbed, you know someone's been robbed, you could be being robbed right now. Now, ACT's three strikes policy for violent offenders has dramatically reduced violent crime. All the other parties are taking credit, although when it was proposed, none of them support it. ACT will extend 3 strikes to burglary and put professional burglars out of business. If the UK experience is copied here, ACT's 3 strikes will reduce burglary over the next 3 years by 110,000. This could be your home that we're saving from being trashed. Another policy that costs nothing but increases jobs and growth is cutting red tape. Now, National, after 6 years, have discovered that red tape is discouraging investment. ACT believes we need less red tape. We are targeting what we call green tape, the Regulations in the Resource Management Act. The RMA was promoted as a law that would reduce red tape and streamline consent. Instead, the RMA holds us back. ACT says the RMA needs to be totally rewritten. And another policy our leader Jamie White announced regards the issue of whether you believe in equality before the law or not. He illustrated this by pointing to the Resource Management Act, where submissions are given different status depending on the race of the submitter. Now that's not okay. Another example is that if a student applying for university or polytech, may find themselves excluded for a student who went to a private school, even though they have better grades, but because they have the wrong parents. Now, if you cannot see that that is wrong, then nothing I can say will persuade you. Now, ACT says we are one country and we should have one law. Finally, I recognise that I am not likely to be elected as the MP of Rotorua. So we urge you to use your electorate vote wisely and support the current national government. But by using your party vote on September 20 and voting tactically for Dr. Jamie White and the ACT Party, you can be sure that Dr. Jamie White and David Seymour will make a difference in the next government. Thank you.
That was ACT candidate Lyle Russell's presentation at Tuesday's Chamber of Commerce election debate. Tune in on Monday for New Zealand First candidate Fletcher Tabito's presentation. And if you'd like to watch the show again or catch up on past episodes of City News, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for joining us tonight. We hope you have a great weekend. Maria.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand.